Hey folks, thanks for joining me today. So in today's tutorial, we're going to be working on a large oval stone. This is a stone that I created with the molds that I received from the Happy Dotting Company. Um, I'm going to be doing the Chinese dragon for the Year of the Dragon. And I know it's a little late for getting this put out, but I had a bunch of other really interesting videos that I wanted to get out first. So this one, I'm actually very amazed on how well it turned out. And the colors that I used just made it pop so beautifully. So I actually bought a bunch of new paint. It's all Craft Smart, which is the Michaels brand of paint, and I used it completely with this tutorial. So every paint color that I used is a Craft Smart brand, except for the white and the black. The white and the black are DecoArt, and they're just ones that I have plenty of, and I that's what I use for my base coats, so I have lots of it. So because I'm going to be using these vibrant colors, I really wanted them to show up really bright. So that's why I'm painting the entire thing white, because the background is black and it's going to eat up the colors and you won't be able to see them as well. So that's why I'm doing white first. Now, in doing this, I also have to do a couple of coats of some of the colors, which is okay. Um, and I just found that the colors weren't as thick. They were a lot easier to work with. They weren't a heavy body paint. They were very light. And I did have to do a couple of coats, but I was okay with that because what I ended up getting was absolutely beautiful. So this is just a design of a Chinese dragon with my own kind of like spin on it. You can do this any way that you want. You don't have to do it on a rock. I just prefer rocks as my medium. And you can do it any way that you wish. It's your imagination that's going to create whatever it is that you're wanting to create. So now I'm going to do the entire body in a green, and this is Holiday Green by Craftsmart. I will list all of the colors and the brand names in the description below. So if I do forget to mention what type of paint I'm using, it will be listed down in the description. So make sure you check that out as well. There's plenty of other really cool links to go to get maybe your own molds for making your own stones, especially this time of year when snow, at least in northern Ontario, is covering everything and you can't find your rocks. These are really great to have. And to find something that is a perfect oval or a perfect circle is very unlikely in Mother Nature. So make your own so you've got some symmetry to it and you can do whatever you need. So I did two coats on that and you can see that it dried very dark. And so now I'm using my blending brush that I created. There is a description, sorry, there is a link in the description to that tutorial. But I'm now putting on apple tart from Craft Smart. And I'm just blending it in just to lighten it up in certain areas. And I'm just going around the edges of the dragon just to give it that depth, to give it almost like a 3D look that I really wanted to go for. Now this video is sped up uh, quite a lot. So if I'm going too fast, definitely slow me down, pause it, whatever you need to do. Even save for later if you want and come back and watch it. Um, I'm just blending in as much as I can, but still leaving some of the dark of the dark green showing through, and putting in some light spots so it's sort of like where the light is catching it. And I'm just making it a little bit lighter using this apple tart color, which actually is beautiful. It's a really nice green. I'm not a big green fan. I have to say it's probably one of my least favorite colors, but in this particular application, oh my gosh, it was beautiful. And you'll see at the end when I show you the pictures of the stills of the finished product, this dragon is absolutely gorgeous. Um, so I'm just still doing a little bit of shading and blending. And now I'm going to be doing some red. Now I did have to do a couple of coats on this as well, which again is totally okay. But this paint actually worked really well. I'm very, very impressed with it. I really like it. And it was cheaper than the DecoArts or the FolkArts. Um, and I just happened to be there when they had a sale on where it was buy three, get three. So I stocked up on a lot of paint. So in my most future um, in tutorials that I'll be doing, I'll be using a lot of these paints. Excuse me. Just because they're new and they're different colors than I have in my stash. So I'm really excited to be using these. I've got so many ideas on the go. I'm going to be working on a couple of more videos on how to use your leftover UltraCal 30. Um, I've done a couple of tutorials already where I've made pocket hugs and I've made little magnets. And I just pour whatever is left over into my wells of my paint trays, and they come out so perfectly circular and just like a little dome, and they're so pretty and so easy to use. And I use my leftover paints that's in my wells. So for example, for this one, I've got some green and I've got some reds and oranges and yellows. So those paints I used up on the, I'll call them buttons because that's what they remind me of, is little buttons. And I use those. So I'm not much of a waster. I do like to try to use as much as I can, so that I'm not wasting anything, and just, taking advantage of what I have available. So I'm outlining the rest of the tail, and all of the, I guess you would call them the feathers. I'm not exactly sure what they would be called. But just doing the edges that attach to the body in red. So it's just a very thin red line. And now I'm going in with some orange. Now this orange is called Tangerine, and again from Craftsmart, and so beautiful. Like, look how vibrant that is, if you can see on the tail that I'm doing there. And I'm just doing some highlights now as well. So I really wanted the dragon to be fierce and have some fire aspects to it. And these colors worked great for this, for exactly what I was looking for. So um, I do that on the tail, and I do a little bit on those head fins, but the rest of the feathers, I guess we'll call them, are going to be orange, and I will be adding a little bit of yellow as well, just to give it that little extra brightness. But I just go around and I'm just outlining the red, and then I'm filling in all of the white parts. And you can just imagine if I had have left that black and just painted over top, it wouldn't be so bright. So in doing so, you're making the design stand out even more, and it's actually easier because now you have sort of like a colored or a page to color in, I guess. And I just, it was easier for me to do it this way. So it's just a little tip from me that works for me. May not work for you, but that's okay. Yeah, this is how I did this one, and it's actually how I've done a couple of my upcoming videos, only because I found it was a lot easier because I do use black as my base coat, and I always do two coats, and I do both sides, so front and back, just so that I get a nice even coat of a base coat so that I can work with it. And I always use black only because I never know what I'm going to be putting on that rock. I have so many that are already pre-primed, but I have no idea what I'm going to be painting on them. So I paint black because if I'm doing a mandala, the black actually makes the mandala show up that much better, especially after it's resined. And I find that the black really shows up if I'm going to be using any of my metallic colors or watercolors or anything like that. It really shows up on the black background a lot better than if it was white. So that's why I do black as my base coats, but that doesn't mean that you have to. And I strongly urge you to use whatever paint colors you have in your stash. Even if you just have a few colors, you can blend the colors together or you can mix them together in your paint tray, and you can get all sorts of different variances of the colors. Even simply by adding white, you can get a lighter color, or simply by adding a couple of drops of black and you'll get a darker color. So just be very, very spare with your black when you're mixing, because it does tend to overtake whatever color you've got. So definitely do it with as little, like start off with one drop, mix it up and see what you think, and then go from there. So I've done all of the feathers in orange, and I outlined the head feathers there, or the tail head. I don't know what you'd call them, the horns maybe. So I've done all of that in orange, and I'm going to let that dry. While it's drying, I'm now going to work on the belly. So the belly I paint yellow, and that's simply the name of the color. It's Craft Smart Yellow. And I'm so in love with the colors that I chose for this dragon. It's just absolutely gorgeous. So I'm now going in and I'm just doing a little bit of highlights with the yellow now that the belly is done. I'm just letting it dry, and I'm doing some highlights, and I make his eye yellow as well. I really wanted bright colors. I wanted something fun, something exciting, just something really, really cool. And I did look up different types of dragons that were Chinese dragons for the new year. And there are so many really, really inspiring pictures that I saw when I Googled it. I also looked on Pinterest, all great places to look for inspiration, and it's definitely where I go. And I love finding all of the different types of paintings or drawings on Google, because Pinterest sort of takes the algorithm that you searched and just brings up stuff that matches your search, where Google brings up everything. So up to you where you want to do your searches for your inspirations, but that's where I get mine. So I wanted to make the bottom half of the tail look like it's folded over on itself. So that's why I painted that little black line that goes up and connects. And it really does give that illusion that the tail has flipped over. And that's why the feathers are on the other side rather than on the same side as the rest of the body. So it's just an easy way to give that illusion. And now I'm just cleaning things up with my black paint, putting in some details, maybe even cleaning up where maybe I've gone out of the lines, just to crisp it up. So I just want to take this moment to say, if you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm so happy you could join us. I'd ask you to give me the thumbs up if you like this video, and make sure you subscribe and then ring the bell, because that bell is going to give you a notification every time I post something new. So you don't want to miss anything, because I have got a lot of great ideas in the works, and everything is in different stages. So I have stuff that's been recorded, but I have to edit it. I have stuff that's half painted and videoed and still working on, and I've got a full list of ideas that I've written, that I will promise to get to. As well as I'm doing the Moon series, where it is the monthly moon, and each moon has a different meaning for each month. So I've already done two. I've done February and January. So those have already been posted. And now I am working on the March one, which is going to be a little bit difficult one for me. The rest of them I've already got ideas for, but this March moon is going to be a bit of a tricky one that I'm going to have to really pull some magic out of my hat. But I'm excited to see what I come up with. So I haven't started on it yet, but stay tuned. That'll be coming out in March. Um, so you would have seen me as I was jabbering away there that I made some red feathers up on the top by just outside of his eye. And now I'm just putting on his scales. Here's a close-up to show you what I'm doing. Sorry, it didn't stay as close up for very long, but I'm just doing little chevrons or little triangles with my fine lining brush. Oh, here's another close up. I'm now rounding the edges on the outside so that it looks more like his belly scales. So now I'm just outlining that red feather that comes from his eye, and just look how brilliant he looks. He's all very Chinese dragony kind of design, which is exactly what I was going for. And don't forget the big whiskers, because the whiskers are what makes it a Chinese dragon. So I go ahead and I do it in white because I want it really bright. And I also do another one on the other side. So there it is. Um, because dragons have them on both sides, but you can't see the other sides, but you can see when it comes out from behind. And it turned out really awesome. So I'm just going in with some black paint and I'm cleaning it up. Here I'm showing you, I'm just putting some white bloops onto his chest plates just to give some light sources. And then I go and I do the same thing on all of his feathers. Just on the tips, and I just do like a little triangle, and then it's done. I let it dry overnight, and then I give it a coat of resin and let that dry, and then it's finished. So there you have it, folks. Life is what you make it, so get creative.